Hey guys, Anna D here, the biggest D you know. Welcome to Me, My Health and I. I am so excited to share this episode with you, talking with my good friend Jenna about body hair, boobs, and boxes. Welcome, Jenna. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to talk to you today. You have an amazing story, an amazing journey that I would love for everyone to hear and I would love for you to share. So before we get into that, just tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell us.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Jenna, 37, got a beautiful daughter who is 17. I got married young, 18.
Oh,
You
wow.
probably don't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Shook.
Yeah.
Married young, had Izzy, divorced, obviously. And then I've worked in banking and finance
I didn't know that
all my
either.
life.
Yeah.
Trained financial advisor. Pretty much that's me.
Yeah. All right.
Easy.
So then I guess you've had breast cancer.
I have.
That's why.
Yeah.
Not why we're here today, but I'd love to hear that journey.
Yeah.
Like from diagnosis right through.
Okay. So interesting. When I told Izzy, my 17-year-old, that you had invited me for the podcast, she's like, "Really? What are you going to talk about?" And I was
You're like, my boobs?
Wow, no. I was like, how about all that unresolved trauma that I have had in my life? And then I realized it was just a short podcast, so we'll just talk about the breast cancer.
Okay. I'll have to get you back for the unresolved trauma.
Yeah, the unresolved trauma.
Yeah.
So in 2019, so not quite COVID, but just before, I found my first lump in my right breast, and had that removed. And it hadn't spread or anything, and so I was fine. Off I went. A year later, so 2020, right in the middle of kind of COVID, I grew a whole lot of weird lumps in my uterus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
No, lots of surprises, things that you don't know.
Yeah.
One was even the size of a baby's head.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
In your uterus?
In my uterus.
Did you feel it outside, or could you see it outside?
Yeah, I was having a lot of kind of issues, and I knew something was kind of wrong. So I had those removed.
Yeah.
And off I went. And then a year after that,
so 2021.
2021.
Gosh, this wasn't that long ago.
No, and it was October, so it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I noticed in my left breast that the nipple looked slightly inverted.
Yeah.
Sort of was a funny shape, like just subtle sort of changes.
Yeah.
And we were in the middle of COVID, so you couldn't kind of go anywhere. People weren't going to doctors or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I had already had these lumps previously, I just contacted my surgeon, private health insurance. So
yes, we're going to talk about that.
Very bougie.
Yeah.
So I contacted my surgeon. She said, "Yeah, I think we better, come in and check this out." So I did. And it actually took a little while for them to diagnose it because it hadn't grown like a lump.
Yeah.
It had actually sort of spread like tentacles through the whole breast. Yeah, so it's like an octopus.
Yeah. And is that quite common for...
I think so.
Okay.
And I think it was like my body was like, you found the first lump. Oh, you found those second lumps. Yeah. And we're going to try something a little different now. Yeah. So I ended up having to have a full mastectomy on that side.
On the left side.
On the left side. Yeah. And when they do that, they check your lymph nodes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it had spread into my lymph nodes. Yeah, so that was a bit of a bugger.
Yeah.
So then, basically my life burnt to the ground. I spent so much time crying in that time of my life.
Devastating. So how old were you when you were diagnosed?
34, almost 35.
And that's so young.
So young, yeah. And you have the option of having your genes tested to see whether you've got any of the like genes, which can cause cancer.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think like a normal like human response to like trauma is to find like a
The
reason
answer,
or to blame.
Yeah.
Have someone to blame.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, I wanted to be like, you know, it was my parents' fault. You gave me shitty genes.
Yeah.
Like,
fuck you.
Yeah. But it wasn't, I don't have any of the genes.
Right.
So actually all that I have is just really fucking bad luck.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but then I was like, oh, that's a bit rough. But you said it, so that's okay.
Bad luck. And I wanted to know whether it was something that I would pass on to Izzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no. It's just bad luck.
Yeah.
So then I had 6 months of chemotherapy.
Yep.
That was rough.
Was it quite intense?
Yeah, really intense. So I think when you're young and you have cancer and it's already spread to your lymph nodes, they want to throw everything at you. Like, let's give you the most intensive treatment that we possibly can to give you kind of the best shot at survival.
Yeah.
I think the 10-year survival rate for people that have cancer like I have and spread to the lymph nodes is like in 10 years, it's like 80-20. So if there are 100 of me in the room, 20 will be dead in 10 years.
Oh, shit.
80 will be alive.
Do you
so
want some water?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's although that's kind of good, you know. Odds.
80-20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still very sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't dwell on it though.
No.
You've just got to get on with, you know, living your life. So all my hair fell out.
Yeah.
Zero hair on my body. So great. Don't have to shave your legs.
Is it all back now?
It's all back now, yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, whoa. Imagine if you could be like, no, I just want my eyebrows back.
Thank you.
Head here.
Yeah.
But everything else can go. Because
I actually really enjoyed being bald.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah. Did you rock the bald head?
So I did. So I had hats and wigs, but they're kind of itchy and hot. And when you're sick and you're going through chemo, you're like 1,000 degrees all of the time.
Yeah.
So
it's like you've got the power of the sun inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just too itchy and too hot. So.
I can resonate with that. So I don't know if I told you, but I shaved my head. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
My little mental health breakdown.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about another time. But yeah, so itchy, so hot. Yeah. I wore beanies for a whole summer. It's fucking terrible. Ridiculous. Yeah. But I was like, hats looked a bit weird, or I had big floppy hats, but you can't rock up to the mall in a fucking big floppy hat.
No.
Stupid.
No. So I just rocked the bald head.
Yeah.
And you know, I had this one instance where I was driving to chemo because we were still COVID, right? So no one could visit me in the hospital, any of my surgeries. No one could come with me to chemo or any of my appointments.
Yeah.
So Izzy and I actually moved in with some friends of mine, and I'll be forever in debt to them because they took the best care of us while I was sick, and they were amazing. And I was driving to chemo one day and I rang Carly. I was like, oh my God, you'll never guess what's happened. And I was driving through the Newland lights and, you know, there's always the people there, you know, collecting coins and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them in his like, you know, bare feet and like missing teeth and like he looked at me and he pointed at me and he said, I love your hair. And I was like, I just had to laugh because I was like, oh my God, literally the homeless person's telling me that I've got a great haircut. Like, and I don't even have any hair. Yeah. And so I just had to have a laugh.
Did you give him any coins?
I probably did.
Did you? You're so nice.
Yeah. And it's actually interesting. I actually had an opportunity to talk to him not that long ago. Oh, and cool. I said, you know, I went through this like cancer experience and you made fun of me at the lights. And he was so sorry. Yeah. He was so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
But Yeah, so I had a really bougie cancer experience because I had health insurance.
Yes.
So get health insurance.
First piece of advice, get health insurance. Yeah.
While you're young and there's nothing wrong with you. So I had private hospitals, private cancer centre, and they have been like amazing.
Yeah.
So I was really, really lucky. So I had, the 6 months of chemo. Pretty much that broke me. And then I had a month of radiation.
So what's the difference between chemo and radiation?
So chemo, I had a port put into my chest. So which was sort of like a little round thing, and it sort of sits inside your chest, and then it has a tube that loops up and into your main vein.
Right.
So when I had chemo, they put a needle into that, and then the chemo drugs are like a liquid which goes through your bloodstream.
Yeah.
And it's there to like kill all of your sort of your cells, and it kills everything really.
Right.
And to try and mop up, if there's any
leftover.
Yeah, or cancer cells kind of traveling around your body.
Yeah.
Then the radiation's really targeted, so they basically like it's literal radiation to the site, and
right.
what that does is it if there's any leftover cancer cells, it's kind of meant
disintegrates
to like
them.
nuke them.
Yeah, yeah. Because when you think radiation, you just think the sun, the power of the sun.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it does. It burns like that. So a lot of people get burns and that kind of thing. I didn't. My skin was pretty good.
Lucky.
But it's slightly distorted. Like, so when I had my surgery, I had a reconstruction straight away, and I opted for implant.
Yeah.
It's the radiation slightly distorts that, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then just on a year ago, I opted to have a second mastectomy, like on the other side, so that for preventative, and so that I was like even, because I had this like one fake boob and one real one, and that was like really weird.
Yeah.
It was really weird. So I opted to have that. So I guess the silver lining is like I've got a great
set of
new pair of boobs. Yeah. Which,
do you get them out often?
Never.
Well, you should. I mean, you've gone through hell for these boobs.
I know.
Get them out.
Yeah, no.
You should go to New Orleans to Mardi Gras. Then it wouldn't matter. No one bat an eyelash.
I just don't know whether people want to see that.
Who cares? No, everyone does it. We didn't ask if people want to see it. We're like, you should be proud.
Yeah.
Loud and proud.
Yeah. We'll see. I couldn't even talk like about this when I first fell sick. So I didn't tell anybody because it was COVID, so I wasn't seeing anyone.
Yeah.
And my father was hassling me about like, are you getting a COVID jab? You're getting a COVID jab?
Oh my God. And you're like, meanwhile.
And I was like, no, I'm not getting the fucking COVID jab. I've got cancer. And that's basically how I told him.
Oh my God. Your poor dad.
Yeah, it was a bit rough.
Yeah.
And then my mum, I didn't tell her until, so I was diagnosed in October, had my surgery and started chemo in the November. So when it came to Christmas, that's when like sort of the like
lifted the restrictions.
Yeah. And so we were having like a Christmas lunch. So
you told her at Christmas lunch.
I just showed up bald and sick and in the middle of chemo to Christmas lunch.
I love it though. Like, what else are you going to do?
I know, but it was probably a bit mean. My poor mum, she cried.
Do you have a good relationship with your mum or not really?
It's a lot better now than,
but it wasn't.
Yeah, probably not great at that time. But no, it's a lot better now. I think like, especially for me, like when having gone through like cancer and that kind of thing, and you realize that like holding grudges and like holding on to things and like
life's too short.
Yeah, life's too short, literally. Yeah, and there's no point. So, but I remember mum saying to me, her sort of first thought, like obviously they could see I was sick.
Yeah.
But her first thought was, why aren't you wearing a wig?
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
How old's your mum?
how old.
Or like roughly like 60s.
She's early 60s.
Yeah. Oh, early 60s.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an older generation thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you're going through, you got to look the bit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She used to always say to me, oh, why aren't you wearing lipstick? You know?
Because we live in New Zealand. And, yeah.
I know. Funny. So, that was, really kind of rough, obviously, the chemo and the radiation. And then now I'm on a preventative treatment, which I'll be on for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's a monthly injection. So I still go off to the cancer centre once a month, have my injection, and I take daily pills.
Every day?
Every day,
yeah.
And because my cancer was a hormone-positive cancer. So you can either have, there's two types. So, well, loosely two types.
Yeah.
So you've got triple negative, which is often younger women get it. It's very aggressive. The treatments are not as effective on triple negative. But on the hormone positive cancers, there's a lot more kind of options for treatment. So that's what I had.
So if you're going to get it, you want the hormone positive.
Yes. Yeah.
So you did have some good luck.
I did, except that I put on a lot of weight, and that was to do with hormones.
Right, okay.
And I think if I was, if you're going to get an option about getting cancer, you definitely want a skinny cancer.
Okay.
So that's what I'm ordering next time.
Yeah. Just going to put it out there. Lol. Although I do remember, because I knew you before you had cancer.
Yes.
And then I met you.
And I was really small. Yeah. I was always really small, like, 57 kilos kind of thing. And then I just put on 20 kilos like that.
Yeah.
And one of the hardest things has been trying to lose that weight, actually. And so for people, obviously having cancer is a trauma, but for people that, losing weight's harder than cancer, actually.
Yeah. Well, also you've lived your whole life one way. Then you're like, oh, okay, here you go. No more boobs.
Yeah.
And now you have to try and lose 20 kilos.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things, when people go through trauma, no matter what it is, whether it's cancer, whether it's, somebody dying or an accident or, they lose a job or their relationship breaks up or whatever, it's like people are sympathetic for a period of time.
Yeah.
And when they think that you should be over it, or when they deem that it's been long enough, they sort of are like, well, you're better now.
Yeah.
And, for me, my hair's grown back, and, if you wouldn't, to look at me, you wouldn't think, oh, yeah, she's had cancer.
No.
So it's like people expect you to be better.
Yeah.
But actually on the inside,
you're not.
You're not.
Yeah.
Or you've got ongoing, I have ongoing effects, so I get the brain fog and I get tired and my body aches sometimes and those sorts of things.
You wouldn't know that though, because I feel like all my interactions with you're always so positive and bubbly. You have down days, but I would never know any of that.
Yeah.
And before when you touched on unresolved trauma, is that to do with cancer, or was that before?
I think that's probably before.
Right.
But my dealing with trauma is to box everything up and then just file it away in my mind and then try not to think about it. So actually, when I knew I was coming here today, I had to go deep into the archives, get out that box of, cancer trauma, and then be like, yeah, actually that happened and that happened and that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, and you can tell me to fuck off, but have you spoken to anyone about these boxes?
So many times.
Really?
Yeah, so many times. But sometimes, there's no fixing some things.
No.
You've just got to, you have to learn to, to live with these things.
Yeah.
And then you have to find, healthy coping skills,
mechanisms,
which I definitely don't always get right.
Yeah.
And you've just got to, a lot of the time, it's a grief process, and like grief is not linear. Like it's not the 7 stages of grief and it's over.
Yeah.
It's like
some days you'll be fine, and then
some days you've got acceptance, and then the next day you're mad or upset or you're in denial. Like, and you kind of go through
and round
and back and forth, and a lot of that is internal, because when you look on the outside, people don't really know what's going on
I've
in the inside.
Bit of childhood trauma that's flooded over into adulthood, as I just told you my little story before.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm the same. Some days I'm like, well, shit, it is what it is. I do like to air my laundry a lot though, and I feel like that helps, because I feel like if you air it, you guaranteed you'll find someone that's like, fuck, I know.
Yeah,
you
true.
know? And then a problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah.
So
I think, through my health insurance, I did actually get like appointments with a psychologist.
Yeah.
Like, because once you're sort of diagnosed with cancer, like obviously that's a trauma. And your health insurance actually they cover your therapy. So I did have some therapy sessions. And to be honest, I just got sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't talk about this anymore.
Yeah. I've just got to live it.
Yeah. 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 And, my life changed so much. Like, my life was going in one way and it's completely changed.
Yeah.
And, there are lots of things, that I miss about the old life, but there are lots of really good things about the new life. Like, back at the gym with my like F45 family. Like, I wouldn't have been living in this area if I hadn't have got sick.
Right.
So I probably never would have come back.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. My brothers, each of them have got a son each. Yeah. And so I've got my little nephews who I adore, and I probably wouldn't have got to see them so much.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have got sick. So in that way they bring, like, there are good things that have come from out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess if you can keep looking for those, like some days will be harder than others, but if you can keep finding those little pockets of joy in what was a god-awful situation.
Terrible.
Yeah. Then you've got something to live for.
Yeah.
Because life tried to cut you down.
I know.
But you didn't let it.
I know.
Yeah, so you gotta live each day, girl.
Totally. And like, I don't know, like, it could come back. Anything could happen.
Yes, because I did ask you before, are you in remission? But they don't.
So they don't consider you in remission. I'm on a preventative treatment.
Yeah.
And they don't go looking for new lumps and bumps. What they say is that we will focus on symptoms. So how are you feeling? Is there anything, like obviously you can physically feel a lump if you find a lump somewhere. Or you might, there are a lot of things that they kind of ask you about. And they just say, we focus on symptoms, because if we actually go looking for lumps and bumps, we find things that probably we don't need to find. Okay. And it actually doesn't change, and it doesn't change the outcome.
No.
So the prognosis doesn't change.
If it comes back, it comes back.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing. That's a, an ongoing thing that I have to, live with. Yeah. Like, it could come back.
Yeah. That's a battle.
Uh-huh.
So that was so intense. You talk about Izzy.
Yes.
So if it was, she's only just 17 now. How old was she?
So she would have been 15.
Yeah.
Or 14. 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really hard, obviously in the middle of COVID. No school, so she wouldn't have had that support network. Yeah. But living with our friends, and they've got children who are similar age to Izzy.
Oh,
they were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had that support.
Yeah.
Which was really like I said before, I'll be forever in debt to my friends. But it was really funny because kids are assholes. Like,
fuck yeah.
Izzy went to school, and obviously when she could go back to school, and people could see obviously that I was sick because I was bald, and Izzy didn't want me to come to things because it was like a bit embarrassing for him.
Yeah. Lol. So you're like nearly
died, but a little bit embarrassing for a teenager. But these girls from school spread this rumor.
Are we calling them out right now? You bitches.
Yeah,
we're
totally.
coming. We're fucking coming for you. Yeah.
They spread a rumor that I was lying about my cancer journey.
Fuck off!
Whoa, that's an elaborate lie.
And you went full tit for the lie.
I know.
Bald.
I know.
Sick as a dog.
I know. Even got my breast cut off, just to keep up with the ruse. So they spread this rumor that I was lying about cancer.
14? They were 14?
Yeah, or 15. It was when they sort of went back to school. And then they said, but actually Izzy really wants her mum to die so that Izzy can get her mum's money.
And you're like, lol, there's no money, baby.
I was like, there's not that much money. And this
Joke's
is a
on you.
really elaborate lie to carry on with.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. So did you...
So aren't kids charming?
They're fucking cunts. I'm just whispered
totally.
That. Yeah. Sorry, Mum. Not a big fan of the C word. That's so intense. So, okay. So how did she handle it initially? Did she break down? Was she just a bit shook?
I think so. My Izzy's pretty resilient.
Yeah.
And she's quite strong.
She is strong. You can see that.
Yeah.
But you know where she gets it from?
Oh, where?
Yeah.
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 So I think I'm probably a person, when I told her, I was like, okay, this has happened. I need to go and have some surgery. These are your options. You can either stay here or you can go to Dad. What do you want to do? And then I obviously had my surgery and came home. And then I knew I had my results, which I knew that it had spread.
Yeah.
But until I had sort of a plan in place and I knew what the plan was, I didn't tell her because you kind of...
It's a lot. It's a lot for you, and then...
Yeah, and I sort of wanted to be able to go to her and say, okay, this is what's happening, but this is the plan.
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you still have to be a mum at the end of the day, and you want to protect her as much as you can.
Yeah. So no doubt it was hard.
Yeah.
And she did say to me at one point, she's like, I think Anna should interview me about what it's like to be a kid with a mum who's had cancer. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Yes, thank you, Izzy. I will have you on. Thank you.
Yes. And so then maybe, I guess maybe that's something for me to take on board because I probably haven't really asked her how she felt.
But now, Mum.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can ask
She'll probably
her.
have to talk about it in therapy when she's older or something.
We should all be going to therapy. We should. It doesn't matter whether you've had a massive trauma like that or everyone should. Yeah, everyone needs a safe space where you can just vomit. Shit. Yeah. But then you can also be like, okay, I've had enough now.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about that. Let's talk about something else.
We have to move on.
So then, okay, so she did well as far as you know.
She did well as far as I know.
So when these bitches were spreading lies, how'd she handle that?
Oh, I think she just I think we had a laugh about it.
Oh,
and then she doesn't get too upset about things like that.
I suppose when you've had such a big life event happen, that must have seemed so insignificant compared to actually potentially losing you.
Yeah, I think she had probably a laugh, and I think I probably had a laugh about it too. Yeah. I was like, wow,
but still,
they've really had to think about that.
Get a fucking life as well.
I know.
Jesus Christ. I was a bit of a dick when I was 14, but we only had a small group of friends and people used to make up lots of rumours about me, so I didn't try to spread any rumours. But I wouldn't make them up, but if I heard one, I'd probably pass it on. But I didn't make any up. There was some fucking shitty ones about me. So annoying.
People are mean.
I know. Kids are dicks.
Kids are dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Not
they've
our
got
kids, though.
No, of course not. And they've got phones and stuff now, you know? Like when we were young, you had to be mean to someone's face.
Yes. Or behind,
their back.
Yeah.
Now you can post stuff online and, hide behind your
But it's
keyboard.
almost even worse because it is to their face, but you've just done it online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like...
But it's because they would never have they would never
balls.
say it. They wouldn't have the balls to say it to their face.
We had an incident not long ago with some online bullying, but I dealt to that.
Yeah, it's good because at least if someone says something to your face that you don't like, you punch them or something.
Or be like, fuck you back. Yeah.
Yeah. But when it's online, it's cruel. Anyway, I digress.
My gosh. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you now then, what is one or a few bits of advice for anyone that has either might have just found out, just been diagnosed with cancer or going through it or coming out the other side or, having preventative treatment? What would you say to you right now?
Okay. A couple of things. Don't ever tell someone that everything happens for a reason.
I say that all the time.
But it doesn't. Not everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
Sometimes really shitty things happen and there's no reason.
Okay. All right. Duly noted.
Yeah.
Because that's my first go-to.
No, nothing. Not everything happens for a reason.
Okay. I do like that though. Sometimes shitty things do just happen.
Sometimes shitty things just do happen and there's no reason. There's nothing you did wrong.
Yes.
You can't make sense of it. Sometimes bad things just happen and there's no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
The other thing is, people say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Also a lie.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you stronger. It changes you.
It does change you.
Yeah.
And not always for the better.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, that's also not true. Find yourself, a small but good group of people.
Yeah.
I've been blessed with some really cool people, so I feel really lucky. I have a small circle, but a good circle.
Yeah.
And sometimes, on bad days, you've got to find things that bring you joy. Like, is it a child's laughter?
Yes.
Is it a puppy? Is it your cats?
Yes.
Like what you said, your cats bring you so much joy.
Yeah.
Like, is it looking at animal videos online? I love doing that.
Okay, I love watching fails.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Just can spend hours watching people fall over. And I'm real sorry. Like, does it make me a bad person? But I've just been hunched over in tears watching people fall over. That brings me so much joy.
Find that. Yeah.
Yeah. So find something on a shitty day that brings you joy.
Brings you joy and makes you laugh.
Yes, laughter. Oh my God, I love laughing.
Don't take things too seriously.
Fuck no.
One sort of saying that is true.
Okay, yes.
Yes, is now I'm going to get it right because chemo, foggy brain.
Okay.
It'll all be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Ooh, I love it. It'll all be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Correct.
Need to get that tattooed on you.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah,
I know. So, finding joy, good people. Don't take things too seriously. I don't get wound up about all the little things.
That's good
anymore.
Yeah.
Be kind. Be kind to people. Like, be a better human.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you never know what someone's going through because what you see on the outside is not necessarily, what's happening on the inside.
Yeah.
It's I just
learned
a reflection.
a lot about you. Yeah. Although I feel like in the last little while that we've been in each other's lives, you have really come out of your shell.
Yeah.
Because when I met you after the cancer diagnosis, you were you weren't the person you are today.
Oh no, I was broken.
Yeah.
I was well broken.
Yeah.
And I
but still
talk
always,
to people.
always smiling.
Oh, yeah. But on the inside, I was so broken.
I know. But to see you now and to see you flourish, and I know you're still going through a journey, like a mental, physical journey, but the difference, if I could show you, is just insane. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
No, I'm mostly happy now. Like I've accepted, like this has happened.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And
because sometimes shitty things just happen.
Sometimes shitty things happen, and I've got to make the most of, or the best of what I've got, or the best of my situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do it for yourself as well. That's one thing I'm learning.
Yeah.
Is not waiting for anyone else to do what I want for me.
Yeah.
If I want something, I've got to go and get it. Go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're the only one that can make you happy.
Yeah. No one's coming to save you.
No, you're the only one that can fix your whatever's bothering you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's no one else's responsibility.
No, it's not. And like, I don't take responsibility for anyone else's happiness. So why should I expect people to take responsibility of mine? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. So that was a lot. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. It's like a free therapy session.
It was, yeah. And I would love to delve into this unresolved trauma. I think we could both, it'll have to be another episode, but we could both just unpack a whole lot of.
I'll have to dig deep into the archive to find where I filed those boxes.
But when you leave here, you can put the breast cancer box back. And then I'll let you know when you need to bring the other one out.
So good.
Okay, so to wrap up and hopefully bring some giggles and some laughs.
Yep, okay.
I want to play a word association game. So just let me get my little bits out.
Okay.
So, Callum, may we please have 1 minute on the clock? I don't have... Oh, you got it right there. You're so good. I don't have a lot of words.
Okay.
So hopefully we fill up the 1 minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to say a word and you say the first word, like doesn't matter what it is, that pops into your mind.
Okay.
Okay. Are we ready? Go. Body hair.
Oh. No, thank you.
Bumhole bleaching.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay. Toes.
Not all created equal. Some toes are way cuter than others.
Yes, agreed.
Like children's feet,
yeah,
so cute.
Yeah,
adults' feet, not so much.
No, yeah,
definitely not.
Okay, feet. We already said that.
Well, I don't know. If you ask Izzy, she'd say that I had a foot fetish.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like. They sort of gross me out, but then it's like one of those things that you just can't help but like
like
to
a car
take notice
crash.
of someone's feet.
Yeah. Like you can't stop looking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, quick. Sex.
No, thank you.
LOL. Mental health.
I'm never taking my clothes off in front of someone again.
Why not?
Oh, no.
Okay, we're done.
No.
What?
That's not for me.
Okay. What about like yourself? Do you...
Oh, I don't really have time. I'm too busy.
Yeah, okay, true. All right.
And I got children.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's us. I'm just going to leave it there at that awkward spot.
Okay, yep.
And I want to thank you so much for coming and opening your box today. Opening your box with me.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate
only
it.
opening my box for you, Anna.
Thank you. And I'm sure that, well, first of all, someone's going to learn something either about you or about themselves. And I really hope that we help someone just by talking about it. Cool. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm always around for a yarn for anybody who, might
anybody.
Be going through cancer diagnosis or have a friend going through it. Or,
yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, you're probably going to be famous now that you've been on this podcast.
Well, absolutely. There we are. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Jenna. I love you. Thank you.